Greetings. For today, I will hand you another Destiny 2 video, but with the little change that I will not be complaining about anything. Because turns out there's one thing I really like doing in this game, and that is, well, the fashion. Lots of skins, lots of transmogging, and, you know, I'm just gonna share a few of my sets. If you like it, copy it, you know. You don't need to be original or anything, just copy what you like, mix and match the colors as you like, as you see fit. And yeah, I hope there is something enjoyable that you can take from this video. I might be talking a little bit about some of the things, you know, why I did this and that. Before we get into the video though, quick disclaimer, just me personally, I'm completely colorblind. So if you see something that I point out as orange, and then you're wondering, wait, that's not actually orange. That's because I'm completely and utterly colorblind. I do not know how most of these colors mix and match. I just have to do it by, well, vibe. So this is also why I'm saying, you know, mix and match however you like to see fit, because I certainly have no idea what I'm doing when I'm coloring. But when it comes to mix and matching sets, you know, maybe there's something you might find interesting here. So with all of that being said and laid out, let's just get into the sets, starting with our beloved hunters. First off, we start with a Knucklehead Raider set. Pretty simple, TITAAAAAN inspired military camouflage colors. I specifically like the arms in this set. The overall set is just kind of military police appearance. Then we have an Ooofious Rigg hunter. This one specifically is kind of built around looking like an archer. But yeah, this incorporates a specific Ooofious Rigg skin. You got your super on the back there ready to throw. You know, makes sense to mix this into the actual build. It fits the vibe and the visual appearance. Then we've got a Wormy Crown. This one specifically uses the skin that makes it look like you're a sort of statue, or you're wearing like a Roman style helmet. You know, the Roman dude that just puts his hand up and, you know, the guy from the meme. Burnished Dreams is a pretty good shader to use, especially because it's very clean. Then we have a hunter using the new exotic, the Morai. The only unfortunate thing about this one is that you cannot get rid of the green lines on the actual armor piece. This is another regal, royal look, you could say. Utilizes the same helmet. Maybe I have an Aaaaarthur hunter. Aaaaarthur spine with a specific skin attached. This one is kind of aiming for our beloved gadget hunters. You know, hunters specifically have a bunch of armor sets that I would classify as gadgeteer inspired, where just a bunch of nicks and knacks and canisters and knives and equipment. Now we've got a Liar's Handshake hunter. This one goes for another basic regal look with a masonry as the shader. Masonry is really good because it combines, you know, my two favorite colors, which is gold and black, or gold and anything that's dark. This is like the regal version of Liar's Handshake, and then there's another one that is utilizing the other ornament that's on the exotic. And this is the other one that's basically a space suit pilot inspired hunter. If you find a shader that has this silver white design, you know, the one that you find on spacesuits, you could use that one. Take a note of the ribbed design, or I don't know if it's, you know, it's like thick fabric that's on this hunter. I tried to match this one with a bunch of armor pieces, so it's overall, you know, you're wearing this kind of suit that's built for high altitudes or, you know, space. If you find the right color, you can probably make this look more like a space suit and maybe different boots. And then obviously there's a rebreather, you know, the pilot look. It's just an alternate version of the Liar's Handshake. And we got a very special one for me personally. I like this one a lot. It's a Lucky Pants hunter. Our Yeeeehawww pants, pretty popular. Wanted to turn this into a outer space bounty hunter. That's why the helmet is like a mask. it just kind of fits the whole vibe. And then the chest piece as well. Try to mix colors that I think look like brown or dark red. Again, you have to choose your own colors here, because when it comes to coloring, I don't trust anything that I see. I don't see any color really. And then we got the other Lucky Pants Hunter. And this one I could call Fat Ass, or I heard you like baggy pants. For some reason, my hunter, which by the way, that's a female hunter, my hunter looks like twice as big in this armor piece. I really like the cloth design. There's another like gadget here, and you also have 2 belts. If you're a fan of belts, you get 2 of them with this one. And you know, it's just it's a different version. Probably looks funny on a male hunter, because that's gonna look even more bulky. And you got our Mask of Fealty hunter here, going for the neon ninja look. Yeah, neon ninja is kind of like a, you know, what I would call it. There's a little bit of clipping going on in the other preview, but if you go back there, you see it looks pretty nice. You know, it's clipping into the, obviously because the pants are this big, it's clipping into the pants. But yeah, the theme is lots of knives, ninja inspired. You got running shoes for some reason. You know, it's kind of a mix between like neon, cyberpunk, hunter. The helmet fits, the mask fits. Then we got one that's probably a little bit more rare. Stompers, jumpers. This one is supposed to look like you're wearing like an exosuit. You know, it's like supports for your arms. The exosuit is around your chest, and then your feet. Obviously, it's kind of like, yeah, another tech hunter. A little bit of Rasputin design in there, but it's mostly supposed to look like you're wearing super soldier suits, something like this. You know what I mean. Then we got another zombie hunter. This is just kind of another bulky version, kind of wearing armor. There's nothing really too special about this. I just like how the orange turned out. If this is orange, maybe it's red, I don't know. I don't really care. You know, colors are irrelevant. You, again, choose your own colors, whatever you like. Then we got another Knucklehead Raider. This one I really like, because this is kind of a casual tracksuit hunter. You know, this hunter somehow went running and was dragged into a mission, you know, instantly transmitted into a mission, has his running gear still on. I just kind of like how Throne Officer turns out on this armor piece. You know, the orange stripes in there. I don't know what the base color is. Dark something. It's kind of, you know, comes together pretty nice. And then we have the Bird. Bird is utilizing our Hunter mark, relativism. Relativism here is pretty difficult to match. At least I find it's pretty difficult to match, because it's gigantic, and this ornament makes it a little bit easier to match. You know, there's a bunch of wing-like design in there, so I thought I'm gonna try to make a bird. And the Star Wars set, especially feet, kind of make it look like you're some sort of bird creature, you know. If you don't use the helmet, you don't necessarily immediately recognize that it's from a Star Wars set. Also, the set from Mass Effect works pretty well here. Fits the kind of the entire build. Let's say this is just kind of a mechanical bird or something like this. Then we got a Renewal Grasp Hunter. And this one is supposed to kind of look like a, you know, you're in an overheating graphics card, because the, you know, the arms kind of look like you're having graphics cards on your shoulders for some reason. And then there's a bunch of wire design in the armor pieces that it shows, and the shader makes it look like there's like, you know, it's about to overheat. And the rest of the armor is just kind of, you know, one of my favorite helmets and one of my favorite cloaks. I just mostly made this one because it the wiring on the armor kind of fit together pretty nicely. And then I have another nostalgic build, because this is the very same build I did use to run the Day 1 raid attempt. And yeah, it's just kind of, you know, utilizing the armor from the DLC, the last one. And I just think it comes together nicely. It's a little bit of a rusted design. You know, your graphic card's been sitting in a dumpster for 15 years. Yeah, it's mostly using one armor set though, so yeah, you can vary it a little bit if you want to. Then we've got a basic design that is not incorporating an exotic. There's a few of those. This one is just kind of werewolf, you know, you got the big fur cloak, the boots that are claws, and then obviously the helmet. You can incorporate, I think, a chest piece. The chest piece is probably easily replaceable. And this probably also works for a few helmets if you want to. You should probably keep the arms and the cloak in one because it just fits together pretty nicely. But yeah, it's just kind of a template. Incorporate any exotic that you want in this. And then there's a few minimalistic builds. This one, the goal of the build is kind of just make it as small-ish as possible. Kind of minimalistic, small statue, trying to make like as few gear aspects as I can put on. And it's like one example of a hunter that I would call minimalistic. You know, there isn't even a cloak. So, you know, that's the idea. And I obviously have to talk a little bit about the business hunter, the man, sorry, in this case it's a woman, just going to business, or I guess in this case it's a very fancy party suit. It looks ridiculous. It's just super funny how this one turns out. It's just this entirely minimalistic hunter with the boots and all. There's a few variations of it. You know, you could go for like a Hawaii design that you can have on it. You can go for all white. There's a bunch of stuff you can do. It just looks funny. It's funny, and you can incorporate an exotic, you know, as a helmet. Then we've got another one that's a little bit more minimalistic. It's a very minimalistic cloak, basic black and white color scheme. And now Mask of Backers Hunter, kind of looking like some sort of underwater creature hunter, you know. There we got the exotic that I can't pronounce, something. It's supposed to look like another suit, spacesuit maybe, you know, spacesuit diver, a little bit rusted. Then we got another bird. This one incorporating an actual exotic, you know, the hooter, the big shooter. Basic idea again, bird, mechanical bird, or an owl in this case, I guess. This one is another bird, another owl, utilizing the same helmet, just again more regal, utilizing one of my favorite shaders too. And our last one here is the evil owl. I don't know why this helmet looks so fucked up. The eyes glowed too, by the way, so this looks really fucking spooky. And then we got a robotic version as the last entry to the, you know, the big hooter helmet, because there's a bunch of ornaments on there, the robot version. And another very basic, stripped down, minimalistic hunter wearing the Aaaaarthur's embrace. Aaaaarthur's embrace is actually pretty nice as an exotic. This also takes colors pretty well. You're wearing a suit, but you're also wearing armor. Depending on which color you're choosing, you can see what I mean, right? And it's unique because you don't have a cloak. We have Caliban's Hand Hunter. This is one version. This one is just kind of going all in on the idea of, you know, you throw a bunch of knives with Caliban's hands. And this is kind of a futuristic knife throwing build, incorporating a little bit of, you know, cyberpunk green or yellow, I think. We got the trick sleeves. It's a similar-ish looking one. The trick sleeves are already pretty stripped down and minimalistic, so I went for another minimalistic one. Just made this one black because, again, it's easier for me to work with simple colors than to try anything. We got the Oathkeeper, and the Oathkeeper already looks regal, so another regal-looking hunter. Any kind of, you know, gold shader here works, gold and white, gold and purple. Then we got the sealed arm carrot grasps, and they are, you know, hive exotics or hive looking exotics, so I went with a full hive armor set here. Nothing too special. Difficult to match this one though, because unfortunately the arms always shade a little bit differently than the rest of the armor. Then we got another hooter, another freaking exotic shooter hunter. Yeah, this one is just a spiky version. There's also a weird bug going on with the cloak that I'm currently seeing. I don't know why, but, you know, extra spikes. And that's the idea, you know, spiky, spooky hunter. Then we got a Russian foe tracer. Yeah, the helmet just kind of works well with the cloak. Again, the idea is winter, Russian, and again, bunch of knickknacks and things and equipment and stuff on the chest piece and the boots. Kind of fits the idea. And now we've got another Yeeehaw hunter. Another cowboy. The obvious things here, you know, are obviously the actual cowboy boots that would make the appearance of the build complete. And here's the one that I call Crab Hunter. Kind of like orange crab. I think it fits the exotic pretty well. And we got Moth Keepers, and for Moth Keepers I tried to incorporate as much as I could of hive design, as well as, I guess, the plant design on some of the armor. You do look a little bit bulky, but I think it fits together pretty well. And all of the like little blue aspects on the cloak and on the arm, it just kind of works out. There we got the Deathknight version of the Aaaaarthur spine that I was talking about. This is kind of like including chainmail, a little bit of hive ornamentation and design. The skull, obviously, you know, you look spooky. The ornament itself has a mean look to it. I think this fits pretty well as a, you know, Deathknight, I guess. Then we have the Omnomnculus Hive Hunter, another Hive Hunter. I think this fits pretty well together. You can do a lot with Hive aesthetics on Hunters. I feel the Hunter has, for some reason, the best opportunities when it comes to builds that make you look like some sort of hive creature. And Omnomnculus has a bunch of eyes, so yeah, it fits. Winston's West. I just wanted to show this one off. If you somehow want to make this one work, just go for, you know, Iron Banner armor sets here. And we got a Girl Falcon Hunter with the fitting boots. Just going full on Reef Regalia as dark as I can, because it kind of looks like a voidish, and obviously this is like a void build. So you go for dark void colors while still keeping it looking regal. Red and Flux, Iron Banner look that I wanted to go for. Ninja look, I guess. Then we got the glowing graphics card Hunter. This is just kind of a funny little combination of armor sets. Raiju's harness included, because it just works well with the shader. You have the RGB lighting going on like you're some sort of freaking PC or something. It's just kind of funny. This one is the first attempt at a Taken Hunter. First attempt at a Taken Hunter with the Star Eaters. Obviously Star Eaters you can get as a class item, but it is just kind of a Taken look. Then we got a Stealth Hunter, full on ghillie suit, kind of. It's not really a ghillie suit, but another Ooofious Rigg Hunter. This one uses the other ornament, you know, Forest Ranger, fits the description in this case. And we got a Frosty's Hunter. This one, the idea is, you know, climbing boots, climbing gear. Oh, well, this is a harpoon, but imagine it's a climbing hook, okay? But this is another, you know, gadgeteer setup, a bunch of stuff on the arm, on the chest, on the boots. You know, you're going out for a climb. You're probably ready with that one. Then we got a Bomber Hunter. That's probably also not something you see a lot. Another one that just kind of incorporates a bunch of the Iron Banner design, because the Bombardiers are kind of looking like they're belonging to an Iron Banner set. Nothing too special. Now we got the Tiger. This is just kind of a set that I like to combine every now and then. The cloak with the tiger helmet and the boots. The boots are just super useful. And then we got the last one, which is the chromed out Hunter with another Caliban exotic in there. It's just full chrome. That's the idea. That's all this one is about. And it incorporates an exotic. Just kind of works and looks funny. And maybe you blind people with it. Now we have our Titan. And we start off strong with the Wishful Ignorance. The Titan set's supposed to kind of look like bone. It incorporates this kind of bony color that's on the arms already. And, you know, I think from a visual appearance, this one fits together pretty well. Looks menacing. Also has a few hive ornaments in there, but that always makes sense. As soon as there's like bones, you always should go for a hive look. Then we have a version of the Skullfort. There's going to be multiple ones. This one is just kind of incorporating a red cloth, a suit. Can't really say what the theme for this one is. It's just, I think it just kind of looks funny. And we got the one that's actually kind of interesting. It's a full-on gold version. Gold Skullfort helmet, entirely golden armor. Maybe use a different Titan mark, but this one is, it looks cool. Shiny Titan. Then we have the Rasputin version of the Skullfort, incorporating everything that makes you look bulky. Skullfort Rasputin version. And then we have a full-on kind of minimalistic white version of the Skullfort. Use all of these as you see fit. I just really like Skullfort, that's why I've got a bunch of visual fashion builds. Now we have a Titan that goes for the full regeneration build. This one utilizing an exotic that maybe not a lot of people are using anymore, but Lorelei Splendor I think is still a useful exotic, and it looks nice. Looks really cool. A regal, fully armored Titan. Just how I would imagine like a Valkyrie Titan would look like. We got a Actium Warrig. Actium Warrig in this one kind of looks like Fallen / Cowboy, Fallen/Cowboy Active Warwick Titan. Then we got a really cool one. So no backup plans, and trying to match the no backup plans void glow to a armor glow. And I think this one, you know, turned out pretty okay. Silver, dark, and then that kind of void neon glow. Big Crash Titan, industrial robot version. And then if you want to see the Darth Vader version, there's just a joke version, by the way. This shade is ridiculous, man. But yeah, that's the original look. Now we have our arc-based Titan, champion, statue. I don't know what you want to call this one. This one looks really good on a male Titan. I feel the need to point this out. I'm going to point this out on a few other ones. This one looks really good on a male Titan. Big shout out. This one actually looks good on a male Titan. It has a little bit of, there's a little bit of clipping going on there, but I just like the look of it. We got a new one, Forge Titan, if you want to retract your hammer, I guess. And this one is just kind of going for a regal silver armored look with, very important, that little bit of, I don't even know, fur? Fake fur? Mask of the Quiet One. I think somebody told me this looks like a deer. I guess if you want to, that this is kind of looking like a deer or something. You can exchange the helmet if you don't want the broken off horn. It's just kind of a set for the Mask of the Quiet One. One of the reasons I chose female Titan, by the way, as you can see, that's the reason. There's always a reason to pick female Titan, but I think this one just looks great. Very important here, this one looks very good on male Titans, because you have a little bit more bulk, but it still looks very minimalistic. And this is obviously supposed to evoke cyberpunk vibes. I mean, who wouldn't see this one? The yellow, the black, obvious cyberpunk inspiration. Then this one is just kind of a goofy little showcase for the strobe light effect on the helmet. You can probably make something out of this if you want to be a funny pumpkin head, distracting people in a mission. People are probably gonna see you very well when you wear that helmet. It's hello, here, blink, 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 blink. Here's your healing. Please come to me for healing. We got Spooky Titan, Spooky Saint 14, Blood, Taken, Bone, you know, Helm of Saint 14, not the most useful exotic, but just kind of want to show off a set for it. I really like the shader. The Blood one, I still can't believe they actually put that in the game. That's cool. It's really cool. Icefall Mantle. Obviously, with Icefall Mantle, you're gonna be ready for the cold. So this one is an Arctic Explorer Titan. Warm God's Caress, version 1. Warm God's Caress finally got an okay ornament. You can work something better out, I think. But yeah, anything that's ornamental probably fits this overall look. Pyrogale Knight. In this specific instance, a medieval Pyrogale Knight. Very, very cool exotic ornament. And, well, another basic knight. As you would expect, there's a lot of knights and a lot of knight design, a lot of armor for the Titan. And we got a very golden, shiny Titan with a very, very useful exotic currently. You can kind of mix and match what you want, but you know, you should go for an ornamental and again, black and gold mix. And we got a robot, one of many, many robots. This one using a Severance enclosure and being fully black. You're gonna see more of these robotic Titan sets. Then we got a bear, full on polar bear, utilizing another very, rare exotic, I guess. I don't know how good this one is currently, but yeah, this completely fits the idea of a polar bear. Utilizes any kind of white shader to make it look cool. We got Contact Cannon, the big cannon, and obviously this one is a Scorn / Fallen design. This one kinda only looks good on male Titans because the shoulders on female Titans are too small. If you're a big bulky Titan, this one would look really cool because it's like this, Scorn Baron visual appearance. Then we have the crazy escaped inmate, crazy, outlaw cyborg, has beaten someone to a bloody pulp, uses the same exotic again. You have the orange jumper suit, and then the idea is you're not wearing anything on top because it's like a fully cyborg, and you really look unhinged with the shader and the helmet. I really like this combination. The lance cap, and since this one has gotten a medieval helmet that looks frozen, we just used a frozen shader and we make a big frozen Titan warrior out of it. Big Titan armor, Nordic inspired. Now we got another robot Titan, hazardous propulsion engine, and this one looks like a transformer. I really like this one. I don't actually know if this one looks good on a male Titan. You can try this one out, but I really like how angular the design is in here. And we got a brilliant leap, a brilliant leap, and the entire build basically military Titan. Also something that you're gonna see a lot, military Titan look, full on camouflage. And we got another set that's gonna look good on a male Titan. This one just kind of, you know, I would argue this is one a Titan that aims to fly high. But yeah, this only really looks good on a male Titan because the boots are this gigantic, and with a bigger upper torso, this would look even better. So this one probably looks really good on a male Titan. And now we have our Peacekeeper build. Peacekeepers. Never leave your house without Peacekeepers. And I just kind of try to go for an angular design here. Try to mix and match. You can maybe, you know, use a little bit smaller arms if you don't like that one. But yeah, Peacekeepers, and then go with a very Destiny 2 vanilla angular design, and it's gonna look good. We got Dune Marchers, and for Dune Marchers, I try to go for a kind of a Black Armory match mix, because the Black Armory shader and the Black Armory ornaments are on. I think it turned out pretty okay. Now we have a gigantic Rhino. This one utilizes the very unfortunate Titan mark that I really don't like. I don't like any of the ornaments because they are huge. And this one, you should probably use this one on a male Titan as well, because although this is a female Titan and she already looks pretty huge, combine this set with like a male Titan and it looks freaking ridiculous. If you want to be the gigantic Rhino, maybe then the very ugly Titan mark isn't so noticeable anymore. And of course, another tiger. The boots are obviously, come on, the boots are crazy good for this one. This build doesn't have an exotic, so maybe an exotic chest or exotic arms could work here. But yeah, red tiger. Then we have a Taken Hive, no exotic incorporated in this build. Now you can kind of mix and match what you want in here. Then we got another Hive set. This one is just kind of green and utilizing the cool helmet. But this is all I have to say about it. I just really like the helmet. Then we have another one that uses a angular design and just incorporates one of the parade sets. I really like the parade plate. I just wanted to show this one off. The parade armor set is probably one of the best ones for the Titan, and it just looks really good. Another, you know, example of why masonry looks really good as a shader. You can kind of mix and match, put a different helmet on. All of the angular shapes on this one make it really come together. Then we have another very basic black and white. This is kind of an alternate version of the Titan that uses the Skullfort, just using a little bit of different arms and legs. This is similar to the HUNTAH, a minimalistic design. This one is another minimalistic design, kind of going for a vanilla Destiny 1 look. And obviously there's a Master Chef in Destiny 2, there's always going to be a Master Chef. And this one actually includes Dune Marchers, so maybe a fashion set for PvP. Now we got the trucker. A trucker being, you know, a fashion set that looks like a trucker. There's nothing else really to say here. It's gonna be difficult to include an exotic in here though. Then we have yet another knight, more bulky looking knight. If there's ever a really good helmet, you should probably incorporate this one in here. You know, if you get like a knight helmet, a knight exotic, this is gonna look really good. And we have yet another soldier. This one goes for a more darker look, muted colors. No exotic in here too, but this is, you know, a soldier. And we have another set, and this is supposed to be a bull. You probably need to mix and match colors a little bit to get the feet matching. But this is another set that you should use on a male Titan, because the helmet is going to be bigger, the shoulders are going to be bigger, so you're going to be looking like a really huge, massive bull. So another case for the male Titan. Then we have a Bionicle set. I should probably put Takanova on the screen to show how this is going to look like. But yeah, if you didn't recognize this, this is supposed to look like a specific Bionicle. Again, probably looks really good on a male Titan as well. But yeah, since I'm a big Bionicle fan, I tried to replicate Takanova, and the helmet looks like him. So that's, you know, why I tried doing this. And then we have another tactical military look one, you know. And now we have the other Worm God set. This one looks a little bit better because it incorporates the actual matching Worm God strides, ritualistic design. So you should, if you have more ritualistic looking armor sets in the game, it would probably fit better. But this one is, you know, close enough, kind of works. Lastly, we have Mr. Gigantic Shoulders. This is just kind of a meme build. I thought it looked funny. The gigantic shoulders. It's difficult to match this exotic to anything, but yeah, just looks funny. And now we start with a Toxic Warlock fashion set. Although it doesn't really look toxic. It's another classic regal royal look for our Warlock, utilizing a very poisonous exotic, but still looking like, you know, we have a good sense of fashion. Next one is what I would call Osiris if he was fallen. I just think the helmet specifically, so we have a full-on Dawn Chorus plume on the head that then immediately goes into the fur that's on the back. I think this fits pretty well together. Gives it a full connected look, kind of like it's supposed to be one armor set. Then next one is Nazareth Sin. And Nazareth Sin here is incorporated into a full-on voided out build. You know, you're fully voided out. It kind of makes sense. It's the #1 void exotic, and the shader is called Luminous Void. It has these void particle effects. If you mix and match it with certain armor pieces, you have them all over. It kind of gives it, you know, a nice, vibrant void warlock look. And the next one is a very ninja samurai inspired build. It uses the exotic class item Solipsism and just makes the entire look like you're, I don't know, some sort of samurai, futuristic samurai, neon samurai. And now we have the Swarmers. It's the Pride Warlock. Just look at how funny the color looks on this one. This shader specifically is very ridiculous and funny. So experiment with it as you like. This one is just kind of a Swarmer build with the funny hat. It just looks funny. The ornament here looks like Converse All-Stars. I tried to just kind of make it look like you would imagine these boots to look, right? White and black, classic look of these, and then just incorporate it into a, you know, more normal looking streetwear Warlock design. Fully white, black, and gray. Now we have another one, a build that includes the Mantle of Battle Harmony, and I don't know what it is about this specific fashion setup here. I kind of feel like I need to construct more pylons. Also, the boots are already making a reappearance. I really like making my Warlock look like they're really like regal and, you know, finely dressed. And then we have a set for the Fallen Sunstar. Once again, incorporating the bloody shader. This one is more of a thin fish design, but it still works out with the shader and the spiky hive armor. I think it still works out, even though the helmet has nothing to do with hive. And the next one is just a quick implementation of the same helmet again, but now we have made it look like a samurai again. And also we've put masonry on because gold and black is really cool. And then we have the Getaway Artist. This one specifically trying to evoke a look of a decked out astronaut. It's not really an astronaut, this is just more of a futuristic set. I also tried to replicate this kind of design that's on the Getaway Artist and then incorporated that same design into the chest armor. So it kind of looks like they're made out of the same material. That was one of the reasons why I chose the specific combination. And the boots are really, really cool. Also, this one just looks really nice in black and white. But because Getaway Artist is such a nice exotic piece, I have a few more fashion sets. This one is another raggedy cowboy. This outlaw really let himself go. There's also a little bit of that fallen pirate design mixed into it. And then the third version of the Getaway Artist is what you call a priest or some sort of cult leader, I guess. Cult leader with the Getaway Artist. And then we have Speakers Sight #1. This one also trying to replicate a robotic or at least a heavily armored futuristic vibe. The arms or the gloves as well as the helmet fit together. You get that specific effect. There's probably different shaders that would fit here. Now we have the other Speaker's Sight ornament, which gives the entire thing a more regal, royal look. Also, Hoarfrost Sunrise gives the entire thing a fully animated shader, and the gold/light blue effects that are then visible on the armor fit really well together with this specific combination. Then there's a Ophidian aspect one, again utilizing the robotic looking ornament for Ophidian aspects. This one right here is a Geomax. Geomax utilizing another military look, alternative chest pieces that you could pick to make this look interesting, but yet another military looking set. And because Geomax are really nice, I chose to use them in a different appearance as well. This one looks better on male Warlock because the boots are really big here, and the small frame of the female Warlock doesn't really fit this one, but this looks really good on male. Then we have yet another exotic that I can't really pronounce, meaow something. We're going for a Psion look here, another set of armor that uses very regal colors. I don't know if Psions are canonically very regal in their appearance. Now we have Crown of Tempest and the Hive ornament. Mix and match this together with all sorts of Hive armor pieces, and you got yourself a nice looking Hive Warlock. And now we have the Stag number 1, going for the Texas cowboy look because, come on, of course, this specific ornament, you have to use it in a sort of Western inspired, set. Brown tones or red. Then we have the second version of it. I don't even know what to call this one. Fantasy version of the Stag, I guess. I just really like the spikiness of the entire armor set. That's more like, it's not really important if there is a theme or not. It's more like, does it look cool? And I think this looks cool. Then we have a small little build or a small little fashion set for the Dire Arm Kara skull. It is yet another Hive fashion set because you're wearing the skull. So obviously you put on Hive or bony looking armor. Then we have a Warlock Blink fashion setup. Now, I'm probably never actually going to use this one, but it's another Warlock that goes for the, I guess, trench coat, the leather trench coat, in addition with the helmet that already looks pretty minimalistic. You end up with a overall minimalistic leather streetwear look. And then there's Fellwinter's Helm next, evoking cold and obviously a little bit of the Iron Lords. There isn't anything in here that is Iron Banana inspired, but this set obviously, I think it kind of fits, Then we got the Big Eye, the Giant Eye of Another World. This one just kind of incorporates the Braytech set. I think the Braytech set looks really nice, and this just kind of looks like, a scientist has gone a little bit crazy and replaced his head with, I don't even know what the Eye of Another World is supposed to be, but something happened to your head. That's definitely not good, and the Braytech scientist would definitely go there. Now we have Cenotaph Mask, yet another one that looks like a statue or like you're wearing some sort of Roman helmet. It's very Roman inspired, and therefore I chose another regal looking set in order to make this one work. That is a Controverse Hold and one of its ornaments. And this ornament for Controverse Hold is yet again something that looks very regal, ornamental, and therefore I chose a similar looking armor set. Some sort of knight attire that fits the specific ornament in this case. Then we have Sunbracers. Sunbracers, the specific exotic ornament that makes it look all spiky and kind of like it's maybe scales or something. So therefore we choose the scale armor as well. You can make this one look like you're some sort of hornet if you got the specific helmet from the winter event. Then we got another police guy, military/police guy incorporating Briarbinds. Briarbinds with the ornament that makes them look all futuristic. Then we have the Osmiomancy gloves, fully iced out. The exotic is all about freezing. It makes sense to use the shader that turns this thing all into ice. In addition with the ice ornament. But they got another one that is more navigator inspired. I don't know what you call these. And I think this fits the idea of being like some sort of navigator. Then we have Wings of Sacred Dawn. Wings of Sacred Dawn looks very, very nice. And as you might have already expected, wings and wings and wings and wings combined with more wings. It's kind of a no-brainer for this set to put on all of the winged armor and then make it white and gold. We got a Warlock that is pretty rare because I usually never use this specific set. Vesper of Radius. It's another Void inspired Warlock. And so I put a bunch of other armor sets on that also have that kind of void effect around or on the armor to make it fit this kind of purple vibe. Then we got a classic vampire lord. You can exchange the helmet for the actual vampire helmet, but I think this one looks a little bit more creepy. Now we have a warlock that likes to explode stuff. And once again, we have this kind of blue or purple, dark purple design. I have tried to match this specific shader on the chest piece with all of the other shaders on the rest of the armor so that it looks like you're kind of made out of this blue energy. Now we have Phoenix Protocol, and Phoenix Protocol obviously is, say it with me, a bunch of feathers and wings. So we used a bunch of feathers and wings to make this look complete. And also there's masonry again, because masonry is one of the best shaders in the entire game. And the next one is the GIMP Warlock. I never really used this exotic, but it has a really interesting looking ornament, storm bracers. Yeah, it's the GIMP Warlock. Next one, Boots of the Assembler. Boots of the Assembler are pretty huge and large. This one also looks good on a male warlock because you're gonna be even larger. And once again, black and white, as well as using the black armory design that kind of fits the look on the boots. And then we have Rain of Fire. We got Rain of Fire, another tactical military street cleaner police set. We got another one, and this one, same exotics, just goes for a different version of this kind of tactical, matted colors, armored military style. Second filaments, second filaments. And this is yet another shiny, regal, knight ornamental look. Makes sense to choose highly ornamental armor here because look at all of the details on the boots. And then we got a very quick Lunar Faction boots fashion setup. It's kind of armor that looks like it would belong into Iron Banner. So I have combined it with a bunch of Iron Banner ornaments. We have a Transcendent Steps next, and this first Transcendent Steps fashion setup, you know, you're just a big Vex. You're a big Vex guy. Once again, this looks really good on a male warlock because you're gonna be even larger, even more imposing. And then the next one is cat inspired, I guess. This is the same exotic boots, just with a much more slimmed down fashion setup. Once again, white and black is the color scheme here with a little bit of gold. Then we have a generic knight with full-on chainmail. This one does not incorporate any exotic. We got a slight alternative version, aka more chainmail. It is yet another knight, no exotic incorporated in here. This next build kind of goes yet again into tactical, ready for any kind of operations. I think, yeah, Spec Ops or something like this, you could say. It's like a bunch of grenades and gear. We've got yet another captain. I wish there was a cooler captain helmet that isn't so obviously Hive inspired, but yeah, it's a captain. It's a pirate captain. It's a Commodore. Then we have another warlock that is kind of just awoken the same idea that I had for the Hunter as well as the Titan, and that is I just want to make a slim, slick, minimal design. Then we have yet another military look. This one actually looks like you're wearing a military helmet from behind. And we have one more, which is just kind of a snow Russian military set. There's obviously way more Russian inspired armor in the game, but this one, I think, you know, it's another nice military set. Yet another military-inspired set for the Warlock. And that is the end. See you next time.